So I don't think there's any question that there's any mayor here that will be free from being attacked by Donald Trump. What's more important, however, is that we have a mayor who will actually fight back. And that's what I will do. I am Donald Trump's worst nightmare as a progressive Muslim immigrant who actually fights for the things that I believe in. And the difference between myself and am Donald Trump's worst nightmare. Am Donald Trump's worst nightmare.
Who is Zohran Mamdani? A bold advocate for change or a radical socialist threatening New York City's economic foundation? An immigrant's son with an agenda critical of American capitalism and U.S. foreign policy, Mamdani seeks to reshape a city driven by a $1.7 trillion free market economy. Born in Uganda and molded by global critiques of power, can his policies gain traction in a hub of commerce? Will they address inequality or destabilize prosperity? Join World Spark to trace his path from Kampala to the edge of City Hall. Born on October 18, 1991, in Kampala, Uganda, Zohran Mamdani grew up in a family steeped in skepticism of Western systems. His father, Mahmoud Mamdani, a post-colonialism scholar, and mother, filmmaker Miranair, instilled a worldview questioning American capitalism's global impact. Named after Ghanaian revolutionary Kwame Nkrumah, Mamdani moved to Cape Town at 5 and settled in Queens, New York at 7. Queens' diversity, over 2 million people speaking 160-plus languages, revealed economic hardships, reinforcing his belief that capitalism fuels inequality. Mamdani attended the Bronx High School of Science and majored in Africana Studies at Bowdoin College, graduating in 2014. Influenced by thinkers like Frantz Fanon and his father's critiques of Western imperialism, he co-founded a Students for Justice in Palestine, emphasizing global justice. His work as a foreclosure prevention counselor in Queens exposed tenants' struggles, while his hip-hop persona, Mr. Cardamom, connected with younger audiences. Naturalized as a U.S. citizen in 2018 and married to Syrian artist Rama Dawaji in 2025, Mamdani's global lens shapes his campaign's focus on marginalized communities, often prioritizing international critiques over local pragmatism. Elected to the New York State Assembly in 2020 for Queens' 36th District, Mamdani defeated a four-term incumbent through grassroots efforts, mobilizing 22,000 volunteers. Re-elected in 2022 and 2024, his June 2025 Democratic primary win over Andrew Cuomo, with 43.5% of first-choice votes, stunned the establishment. Propelled by young voters and viral social media campaigns, his victory marked a progressive surge amid frustration with rising costs. Mamdani's Democratic Socialist platform targets New York's affordability crisis, where 60% of renters spend over a third of their income on housing. His policies include free buses by 2027, expanding a 2023 pilot with 30% ridership growth, public child care for children aged 6 weeks to 5 years, addressing $20,000 annual costs, city-owned grocery stores to combat food deserts affecting 1.4 million residents, rent freezes for 2.3 million units, a $30 minimum wage by 2030, a $10 billion tax on the wealthy and corporations to fund programs, 200,000 affordable housing units to address a 500,000 unit shortage. Supporters see these as bold solutions to systemic inequities. Critics, including the New York Times editorial board, argue they are uniquely unsuited to New York's challenges, risking the $1.7 trillion GDP by deterring investment and reducing housing supply. The $10 billion tax could alienate finance and real estate sectors, employing 350,000, while city-owned stores may undermine 500,000 small businesses. Mamdani's democratic socialism, shaped by his father's anti-imperialist scholarship and thinkers like Angela Davis, frames capitalism as the root of inequality, with the top 1% holding $1.2 trillion in assets. His policies, progressive taxation, public child care, city-owned stores, aim to redistribute wealth, targeting market failures like food deserts and a 500,000-unit housing shortage. His rhetoric often vilifies American capitalism as a system prioritizing profit over people, raising concerns about its feasibility in a city reliant on private enterprise. His critiques of U.S. foreign policy, which he labels imperialist, amplify his image as an Islamic apologist, supporting the boycott, divestment, and sanctions (BDS) movement, calling for ISIS abolition, and labeling Israel's Gaza campaign a genocide. Mamdani frames America as complicit in global oppression. His 2023 arrest at a pro-Palestinian rally and Gaza ceasefire hunger strike resonate with New York's 800,000 Muslims, but alarm moderates. A 2025 Emerson poll shows 46% of voters don't prioritize a pro-Israel stance, yet his rhetoric risks alienating 1.1 million Jewish voters, 13% of the city's population. His refusal to condemn calls to globalize the Intifada has drawn criticism from Jewish groups, intensifying perceptions of divisiveness. The risks are stark. His $10 billion tax could trigger capital flight, as seen in California, per a 2025 Manhattan Institute report, straining the city's $115 billion budget. Rent freezes may deter developers, worsening housing shortages, while a $30 minimum wage risks job losses in retail and hospitality, sectors employing 600,000. City-owned stores could disrupt 1.8 million small business jobs, curbing entrepreneurship. His global focus, particularly on Palestine, overshadows local priorities like crime, a concern for 26% of voters. His Shia Muslim identity and anti-American rhetoric, in a city scarred by September 11th, invites scrutiny despite his anti-hate funding proposals, potentially fracturing his coalition in an 8.8 million-strong electorate. Mamdani's ideology, aligned with Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, challenges the Democratic mainstream. A mayoral win could embolden socialist policies nationwide, but GOP strategists may exploit his anti-American stances to paint Democrats as extreme, targeting 2026 midterms. His centralized vision clashes with New York's free market ethos, raising doubts about sustaining its economic dominance.
And that's what I will do. I am Donald Trump's worst nightmare as a progressive Muslim immigrant who actually fights for the things that I believe in. And Donald Trump's worst nightmare as a progressive Muslim immigrant who actually fights for the things that I believe in. And Donald Trump's worst nightmare as a progressive Muslim immigrant who actually fights for the things that I believe in. And
Enjoying our content? Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share with your friends for more amazing videos.